This is my review for Transformers Generations Deluxe Class Sky Shadow, or Black Shadow, depending on what you want to call him. I'm going to be calling him Black Shadow in this review, simply because he is supposed to be an homage to the original Black Shadow character and toy from the G1 cartoon series Victory, which was a Japanese exclusive cartoon and toy line. It was never released over in the States, at least initially. Some of the reissues that they did of it may have been released in the United States, but I'm not sure. Anyway, as you can see, he's a repaint of the Generations Thunderwing mold, just like the original G1 Black Shadow was a repaint and remold of the Generations, or not Generations, G1 Thunderwing mold, and he looks pretty cool. I really like the look of this guy. I was initially a little bit skeptical about it, mostly because of this red paint. I didn't really like the way that the red paint looked in the initial pictures that they had of it. It looked a little bit too pink for my taste, but having him in hand, it is a very nice red. I really like the look of it. The camera's actually making it look a little bit more darker of a red than it really is. It's actually a very nice kind of pinkish red. It's not too pink, it's not too red. I really like the red paint. I mean, overall, just love the color scheme. I love the black, I love the silver. I really like the choice of black plastic that they used. I was afraid that they were going to make it too glossy, but it has just the right amount of gloss on it, and it doesn't look too glossy, it doesn't look under-glossed, it just looks really nice. Anyway, not a whole lot to say about it. It is the same jet mode as Generations Thunderwing. He does still suffer from robot hanging under a jet syndrome. Kind of unavoidable, but still, it would have been nice if they had figured out a way when they were making this mold to hide some of the robot parts a little bit better. The upper body and legs, I think, hide okay, but they didn't make really much of an effort to hide the arms, which I think is a bit of a shame. I think this figure would have been overall a lot better in jet mode if they had figured out how to hide the arms better. But anyway, he does still have the landing gear, which do have the wheels that roll, so you actually can simulate takeoffs, which is kind of cool. You can also flip them down. I should mention, when you get this guy, these landing gear are going to be painted in white, but on mine they were painted pretty poorly, so I just took a paint pen and put a coat of black paint over it, and personally I think that looks better, but just so as you know, this isn't exactly what you're going to get when you get this guy out of the box. These are going to be in white paint, kind of like this paint up here, but I thought you just should know that. But anyway, he also does have the launching missiles, which are still pretty cool. I wish that they had molded the guns to be a little bit smaller, since in the original in the original Victory cartoon, Black Shadow was a thief, and I wouldn't think that a thief would carry a massive gun like this, so I wish that they had remolded the guns, but, oh well, they didn't, so nothing much you can do there. Anyway, he does also still have the removable drone. You can detach the nose cone, and this becomes kind of a flying drone type thing. And personally, I've really never been a big fan of this. I mean, it is a nice homage to the original toy for both Thunderwing and Black Shadow, but this just really never did anything for me. I usually keep it on the jet and on the robot mode. You can take it off of robot mode too, but personally I like to keep it on simply to avoid it getting lost. So again, some people may like that drone, but I personally don't. I thought it was rather pointless. Anyway, transformation's the exact same as Generations Thunderwing. You want to go and flip down the tail fins. Go back here, lift up this piece like so. And then you want to take the legs, you want to pull on them to get them fully extended like so. Then you want to take this piece, you want to bring it back. I'll go ahead and close this piece back down. Bring that back. Actually, you don't want to do that just yet. You want to go ahead and splay these out. Flip up this back piece like so. Flip that down like so. Flip down this chest piece. Flip out the feet. And then just straighten them out. Now you can, if you want, display these wings splayed out like this. I do that on my Thunderwing, just to make it look a little bit more like the actual Thunderwing, the original Thunderwing IDW model. But I usually go ahead and fold these down when I display Black Shadow, just because I think it looks more like a jetpack, which I think that a Cybertronian thief should have. It looks pretty cool that way, in my opinion. I like the way that it kind of just meshes together with all the colors into one coherent unit, and I think it just looks really neat. But anyway, we'll go ahead and give him his guns as well. They did remold the hands so that he now holds the guns tighter. On my original Generations Thunderwing, I remember his guns actually held pretty loosely when I initially got him, but I applied a coat of super glue on the handle of the guns, and now they fit a little bit better. But they did actually apparently remold the hands to hold the guns a little bit tighter, which is cool. And there you have Black Shadow in robot mode. And really, really cool looking. The paint scheme works even better in robot mode than it does in jet mode, in my opinion. Just looks really, really awesome. I love the way that this red plastic and this silver and black and white paint all mesh together. They just look absolutely awesome. He does have a newly remolded head. Let's see if I can get a focus on it. Yeah, come on. Whoa. Let's see. I guess that's as good as I'm going to get it. But it is a really, really nice looking head sculpt. I really like it. I also like these antler-like things that he's got. I think those just look wicked awesome. He also does have a remolded chest piece, which looks pretty cool. It does look very mechanical, which I like. He also does have awesome light piping, which I should show off. Very, very nice red light piping. Looks really, really awesome. I love the way that it looks. But anyway, articulation is the exact same as on him as it was on Thunderwing. His head does rotate left and right. Again, it's still at that weird angle because of this neck piece that they added to him. You can't really get him to look straight without bending his legs down a little bit, which is a real shame. I don't really know why they incorporated that neck piece into the first place, because I just think it looks really, really terrible, and I really don't like it. His head also does go up and down a little bit more than on Thunderwing, but really it's just not really that noticeable, so it's really kind of useless. But anyway, he does have ball-jointed shoulders. Again, you still do have the problem of where the back piece kind of hinders the movement of the shoulders, but they are on ball joints, so you can get around it a little bit, and you can get some nice poses out of it. He also does have an in and out joint up at the shoulder. He bends at the bicep, or rather rotates at the bicep, and then bends at the elbow. He does rotate at the wrist, which is nice. He does have ball jointed hips, a thigh swivel, the knees bend, and the feet they can rock side to side a little bit, and they can be posed individually. So you can get this guy into some nice poses. Not as many poses as I would have liked, but oh well. Now, I do have a couple of complaints with this guy, and they're all QC related. I do still have the same issues that I had with the Generations Thunderwing mold when I reviewed the Generations Thunderwing figure. I do think it's a little bit too short, but really there's nothing you can do about that. I really, really wish that they would make a upsized KO of Thunderwing, maybe Voyager or Ultra size, because I would definitely buy that in a heartbeat. But anyway, like I was saying, I do have some QC issues on this guy. They're fairly minor, but they're still there. For one thing, this waist piece right here, its hinge is really, really loose. As you can see, you can kind of rock his legs back and forth, which is kind of annoying when you're posing him because he tends to look downward a little bit, and there's really not much you can do about it. You can figure out ways to balance it so it doesn't rock forward, but there's really not that much you can do with it. And I don't know if that's just on my figure or on all of them. And I did check my Generations Thunderwing. He does have the same issue with the waist being a little bit loose, but thankfully it's tight enough to where you don't really even notice it, so I don't really know what happened there. The other issue I have, and this is going to be kind of hard to show. Oh, yeah, that happens. His head tends to pop off when you lift up this chest piece too, but that's really just due to the new sculpt. You can't really see it. But the pin joint on this ball joint right here on his left shoulder, I guess it's not put in tight enough because the actual joint is loose. And it's not the ball joint itself. I have made sure I've super glued it, or put super glue on it to make it tighter. It's the actual pin, and it makes the ball joint rock side to side, and I'm really not sure what was up with that. I've never had that happen on any Transformer I've gotten, so I don't know if that's just an issue with this particular figure or with this particular mold or what, but that really sucks. So, you know, buyer beware. This guy may have some minor QC issues. Again, I'm hoping that it's just on mine, but it may be on some of them, so you might want to wait a little while and see if they can get a second run of these guys before you pick this guy up. But anyway, for some quick size comparisons, first off, here he is next to Revenge of the Fallen Bumblebee. So you can see, his head sculpt is actually a little bit thicker and taller than the original Generations Thunderwing, so now he actually stands a little tiny bit higher. He's still much shorter than the average Deluxe, but he does stand a little bit taller than Thunderwing, which, speaking of which, We'll compare him to Generations Thunderwing, and there you can see his head's a lot taller, so he stands a lot higher than Thunderwing. So yeah, really, really cool. I really like the look of these two guys. I display them on the same shelf. I display this guy with Lockdown since he kind of fits in with that gangster thief kind of theme with the comic book baddies, but, you know, it works. Anyway, so yeah, a really, really nice repaint. I'm kind of the odd man out on this guy. I personally prefer Generations Thunderwing over this guy, and that's probably just because I do prefer Generations Thunderwing as a character more than I do Black Shadow, but definitely pick this guy up. Like I said, you might want to wait for the second run of these guys to see if they fix some of these QC issues, but you know, definitely pick this guy up when you can, because he's a really awesome repaint, and I definitely highly recommend him. So there you go, my look at Transformers Generations Sky Shadow. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe.